Hello, dear participants. Welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to introduce Rural Development Funds, and we have 4 speakers, and each of them have huge experience, and then they are going to share their experience. So the first speaker is Kuluipa Akmatova. She's the Director of Rural Development Fund. Please, Miss Kuluipa, can you start?
Yes, thank you, Batma. Thank you, Rakhil. Good day, dear participants. We are honored to be here to present our experience, our ideas, and our projects. I would like to share with you some information about RDF shortly. It's some short information about our organization. RDF was established in 2003 years. It's our organization. This year we are celebrating our 20th anniversary, and RDF mission is to support initiatives based on local needs and aimed at poverty elevation and sustainable development of rural areas. RDF actively involves local communities, government agencies, and donors in identifying priority areas and ways to realize the goal of the rural development. The main direction of RDF activities are conducting applied research on various aspects of rural development and implementation of rural development projects that contribute to policy and decision-making at local and national levels, evaluation on ongoing project and development, and of recommendation to improve their effectiveness. Main areas of focus: natural resource management. You can see our project on this direction: ecosystem conservation, agriculture, aboriginal livestock production, conservation and revitalization of biological and cultural heritage. We are an active part of global and regional local initiatives. Also, we host the ILC Asia platform. We are the lead organization for East, Southeast Asia, and Central Asia. Also, we are member of global networks, and we are proud members. You are proud to be members of Snow Leopard Network. Also, we are co-founder of the Green Alliance of Kyrgyzstan, which bring together non-profit organizations, government agencies, academics, individuals, commercial entities such as banks, local communities. We are UNESCO accredited organization and are proud to be one of finalist winners of the JAPIC Award in Korea. You can see news about this award among 56 countries. Also was the Walt Disney Champions for 2020 year, which was valorized our work on snow leopard conservation. We are conducting research and implementing social environmental projects, also support the youth with scholarship programs. This is a brief overview of us. My colleagues will tell you in detail about every directions and project. Thank you for your attention. Give a good webinar. Thank you.
So next speaker, we have next speaker, Zhenishbekova Alina. She's a young leader and researcher at Rural Development Fund. So she is gonna share her experience. Hello for everyone. Dear participants. In my presentation, I will be talk about our project. I will talk about the Kyrgyzstan management improvement projects, where the main task is and goal is to involve local communities and local stakeholders, local authorities, government in the conservation of the natural areas and biodiversity, and also improvement of the Kyrgyzstan Gorge. So Kyrgyzstan Gorge is located in Jalalabad Oblast, Toktogul district. So in all world, there is a key regions biodiversity, and one of these key biodiversity areas located in Kyrgyzstan, the number 9. So in this project, we take these areas. So and the main goals of the project is to encourage local people to participate in decision-making processes and aspects of development policy. And components of the project is component 1 is development of a basic environmental and social data system in the pilot area. Component 2, establishment of a multi-stakeholders platform and development of a joint plan management of Kyrgyzstan Gorge. And component 3, support for small projects aimed at sustainable use natural resources and strengthening ecosystem services. And last component, component 4, capacity building of local communities and dissemination of information. And if we talk about component 1, efforts were made to implement a bottom-up co-management approach by collecting information on projects, participants, and their Kyrgyzstan Gorge ecosystem. So gathering information on stakeholders involved in the use and management of local ecosystem, assessment of the current status of natural resources and biodiversity in the Kyrgyzstan Gorge, and identification of external and internal factors affecting the natural ecosystem of the Kyrgyzstan Gorge, and collection of traditional knowledge and innovative technologies for effective management of ecosystem. And second components of this project was establishment of a multi-stakeholders platform and development for joint plan management of the Kyrgyzstan Gorge. It's negotiation and multilateral dialogue with stakeholders in this platform, including all people, all stakeholders, local government, authorities, and local communities, eco-activists. The event will analyze the degradation of natural ecosystem in the Kyrgyzstan Gorge, and ways of solving these problems will discussed in this platform, in these dialogues. Development of mechanism for interaction, key stakeholders, forestry, local authorities, local communities to solve environmental problems in the Kyrgyzstan Gorge, on the basis of which of the joint management plan will be developed in Kyrgyzstan Gorge. So there we develop a plan and third components of the project, support for small projects aimed at sustainable use natural resources and strength ecosystem services. There will be a training for local communities in green technologies, innovative agriculture approaches, and sustainable resource management.
supporting small-scale projects developed by local communities on biodiversity conservation and environmental protection. We support 11 projects. One of the projects under the Small Grants program was to teach children ecology and the school. And in the school, opened a class for ecology and biology classes, trainings. Another project supported local eco-activists to protect the wildlife of Kyrgyzstan Gorge, also snow leopard and other endemic biodiversities. Conducting trainings, and other local communities received camera traps for better conservation wildlife. And Forestry in Toktogul will create a biohumus room to improve the forest in the Kyrgyzstan Gorge. And one of the projects is aimed at pollution control in Kyrgyzstan Gorge, because there is a road from Bishkek to Osh, and there is a lot of pollution. They have pollution problems. So one local communities working on solving these problems, pollution problems. And there is a group that will grow endemics in nurseries and then plant them in the Kyrgyzstan Gorge. And in these components, also regular monitoring of supported community projects and initiatives. Based on the results of the project, proposals in the field of joint forest ecosystem management will be prepared and sent to decision-making bodies like local government, local authorities. And last components of this project is dissemination of information. There is meetings with projects participants and meeting with stakeholders to disseminate information about the project, about the conservation natural areas, conservation biodiversity, and improving Kyrgyzstan Gorge, and prepare information on project's objectives, participants' results, and short video clips will be produced. And video clips now is creating montage edited by directed. And preparation and publication of booklets on green technologies, effective new methods, and traditional knowledge in the field of forest protection, ecosystem, and utilization of forest resources. And during the project implementation, the project's activities will be monitored and on a regular basis. During the project, every events, every activities, and posted sharing on our social medias, in our Instagram and Facebook accounts, and also in our websites. And also in this project, we work with youth, because youth is our future, and we need to learn and involve them on conservation and natural areas, and conservation biodiversity, also snow leopard conservation. So we work with youth, with children, with school children, and we made for them excursions and events and other. So thank you. If you have questions, you can write on chat. So we in the end of our webinar, we can discuss.
Okay, we have one more. We have one more question now to Alina, but as we mentioned before, we are gonna collect them all, and in the end of webinar, they're going to answer to your question. So our next speaker is Elvira Maratova. She's going to present the platform solution. She is a facilitator of the regional platform on ecosystem restoration as the international led coalition Asia. Please, Elvira Maratova.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone. Good evening. Greetings from Central Asia. Yeah, today, as I was represented, I want to share about the platform of the International Red Coalition that I'm facilitating, and thanks to RDF, which is hosting our platform. Okay, so today is my presentation about the potential of customary rules and practices for ecosystem restoration. As I mentioned, our platform is whatever. This is the regional platform, and we unite 18 members from 8 countries of Central Asia, from East Asia and Southeast Asia. We have a very diverse membership, different groups. Mainly it's NGOs who are working with local communities, with indigenous people, with farmers, with local authorities, and all in one we work with allowing all interested stakeholders, and the mandate of the platform is to advance and promote locally led ecosystem restoration and conservation, with a particular focus on recognizing the land rights of indigenous people and local communities. So our platform aims to facilitate policy advocacy, capacity. I'm sorry, I cannot turn on the music. I see in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm a place where I cannot turn music. I'll try to speak louder. So our platform aims to facilitate policy advocacy, capacity building, fundraising, and generation of community-led restoration and conservation initiatives. So its mandate also encompasses promoting inclusiveness and gender equity in managing, conserving, and restoring natural areas and ecosystems. So yeah, next slide. So what is the greatest challenge nowadays for all of us? Of course, climate change, the urgency of addressing this climate change and ecosystem degradation cannot be overstated. So in our countries, we face, as you see on these pictures, water management, deforestation, and land degradation issues. So today I'll try to share with you my vision in the gravity of this challenge and explore how indigenous communities are often marginalized despite being the guardians of our ecosystems. As people face the greatest challenge of our times, climate change, and Asia's diverse and rich ecosystems and biodiversity are degrading at an alarming rate. So while national, regional, and global efforts like UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration are aiming to mobilize political will to address this growing problem, local communities and indigenous people, including pastoralists, farmers, artisans, women and youth, are often marginalized from conversation on effectively restoring and conserving ecosystems. So in some contexts, powerful actors violate their rights despite their critical role in protecting their lands, pasture-land forests, freshwater, and mountains. So on the next slide, I share with you pivotal roles of indigenous peoples and pastoralists, farmers, women and youth in ecosystem preservation. So each of this group, they play their unique role in the whole process on the local level. So in recognition of the urgent need to bring back life to degraded ecosystems and conserve the region's remaining stocks of biodiversity and carbon, our platform brings together people's organizations and civil society organizations to recognize, uphold, and advance the rights and contribution of indigenous peoples and local communities, particularly women and youth, such as governments and multilateral institutions, fully recognize their right to be foremost involved in design and restoring degraded ecosystems and responsibly managing and conserving land and natural resources. So, if we are talking about the role of local communities, so despite their crucial contribution, indigenous local communities often face marginalization and neglect, so that their rights are sometimes violated, delaying their ability to protect pasture lands and forests and mountain areas. So our platform's vision is built on three key pillars. First is honoring tradition. So we recognize the long-standing tradition of communal land and resource management in Asia, valuing the wisdom of customary rules that have conserved these resources for generations. Our aim is to integrate these time-honored practices into a modern ecosystem management approach. Second is empowering communities. Of course, we address the marginalization of indigenous peoples and local communities who play a vital role in preserving forest resources. Our goal is to empower them by securing their lands and resource rights, advocating for legal recognition, and ensuring their active participation in decision-making processes. Third, last but not the least, gender equity. We strive for gender equity by ensuring women have an equal voice in managing, conserving, and restoring natural areas and ecosystems. We break down barriers, promote women's leadership to transform ecosystem management practices. Furthermore, we emphasize the importance of securing community general rights and promoting locally managed ecosystems through sustainable best practices. So by documenting success stories, we aim to inspire government policies and programs who are supporting sustainable ecosystem management. So next is about the role, customary roles and practices, which play a significant role in various aspects of society, particularly in traditional and indigenous communities. Their influence extends to various areas, including land and resource management, social organization, conflict resolution, cultural preservation. Here are some key roles on my screen, these roles and practices. So if you're talking about resource management, it's about the customary rules and practices often emphasize sustainable resource management. We provide guidelines and restrictions on hunting, fishing, agriculture, and gathering to ensure that resources are not damaged, allowing for long-term availability. Ecosystem preservation means these rules often reflect deep understanding of local ecosystems, promoting practices that maintain biodiversity and protect critical habitat. Social organization. Community customary rules and practices can foster a sense of community and belonging by emphasizing collective responsibility and shared values. They strengthen social bonds and cooperation within communities. And of course, leadership and decision-making. Traditional practices often dictate how leaders are chosen and how decisions are made within the community. They help maintain order and facilitate decision-making. If you are talking about conflict resolution, so customary practices often include mechanisms for resolving disputes and conflicts within the community. So mediators, councils, or elder wisdom may be used to find peaceful resolutions. Some customary systems prioritize restorative justice, aiming to heal relationship and make amends rather than disciplinary measures. And cultural preservation. Customer practices serve as a vehicle for passing down cultural knowledge, traditions, and values from one generation to the next. This helps preserve a community's identity and heritage. Many customary rules and practices are transmitted through oral traditions, including storytelling, songs, and rituals, reinforcing cultural continuity. Customary rules define property rights, determining who has access to and control over specific resources. This can include communal ownership, individual rights, or specific use rights. So rules dictate how resources are allocated among community members, ensuring equitable distribution based on need or other criteria. And adaptation to change. Customary practices can display flexibility in responding to changing circumstances. Communities may adapt their rules and practices to address new challenges, such as environmental degradation or external pressure. And of course, legal recognition. Some countries recognize customary rules and practices within their legal systems, providing a basis for coexistence between customary and formal legal systems. In ecosystem stewardship, customary rules often prioritize the conservation and preservation of natural resources, aligning with modern sustainability goals and promoting responsible environmental stewardship. Okay, so we're moving to the empowering component for indigenous and development communities. In our platform, we acknowledge the value of establishing customary rules, practices that have preserved and regenerated, sustained these resources over generations. These traditions are the backbone of our efforts. Our platform also prioritizes empowering these communities by securing their rights to land and resources. We aim to challenge the status quo and advocate for legal recognition and protection of their ancestral lands. Legal recognition means ensure legal recognition of indigenous peoples and local communities' land and resource rights, secure tenure rights and access to ancestral land to protect them from land grab and encroachment. Inclusive governance. Promote inclusive and participatory governance structures that involve community members in decision-making processes related to land use, resource management, and development. Capacity building. Provide training and capacity building programs to strengthen the ability of community members to engage in decision-making and negotiate actively. Transparency. So any data or information should provide the transparency in the government policies and indicators. Support traditional practices, capacity building, and preventing and supporting the culture of heritage protection. And of course, education. Promote culturally sensitive education that respects and incorporates indigenous knowledge and practices. And of course, yes, alliances and networking and stewardship to engage communities and stewards of their environment, as they often have traditional ecological knowledge that can contribute to the conservation efforts. In the framework of our strategy for the next 3 years, the members of our platform have chosen selected two priority advocacy spaces. It's the UNCBT and the UNCCD. So these two directions were selected because they align with our goals of biodiversity conservation, sustainable life management, and community empowerment, and international commitments in the framework of our membership in the International Lab Coalition. And my last slide is about the gender equity. So on this slide, you can see some of our members who are representing women in our platform, their contribution. We have our Facebook page where we share best practices, contribution of these impressive women from different countries of our platform. So in closing, I extend our deepest gratitude to indigenous peoples and local communities for being the guardians of our future. Their wisdom and stewardship are crucial in our collective journey toward a more sustainable future. And I want to share that our platform is open platform, so if anybody wants to join us and become a member, it's free. But we are open to any suggestions. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, welcome. Don't hesitate to contact me. Here is my call or my email, and it was well, but the host and coordinate for this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alina. So, dear participants, we are so sorry that we had problem with the music. Just Miss Elvira, she's joining from the other city. So, if you have any question to her, please type in the chat. Then in the end, we can discuss your question also. But I can introduce now our next speaker. Our next speaker is Marlis Sarchaev. He's a lawyer. And he will represent the Association of Farmers for the Cultivation and Processing of Medicinal for Relief.
Yes, thank you, Batma, and thank you for all speakers for their representation, for your information. Thank you very much. Today I want to tell about Association Berlik. Association Berlik is created as a result of the project of Go Green, which was funded and supported the European Union. I shortly talk about Go Green project in the next slide. As you see, Go Green project was to contribute to the climate change mitigation through the development of the model of agricultural value chain that respects biodiversity, allows adapting the production to environmental challenge, increase productivity, and fosters the creation of the social and locally based agri-enterprises. As I said, it was the main purpose aim of this project of Go Green, and we to this project was created next product, and I would like to tell more information about Association Berlik. Okay. Full name of our association, it's Association of Farmers on Cultivation and Processing of Medical Herbs Berlik. Today we have 28 members. Our members, it's all of part of our country. Our country has several regions, and we have members from all regions. For example, it's agricultural cooperatives, it's farms, farm communities who involved in cultivation and sale medical herbs in our country. And when we create this Association Berlik, I did not say, we can say shortly name our association, we can call Association Berlik or Berlik, okay? Association Berlik was created in order to, first of all, to protect all the rights and interests of farmers and farming communities who involved in collecting, cultivating, and selling medical herbal raw materials in our country. And second main purpose, it's coordination of their entrepreneurial activity, increase of their efficiency of the farm sector, of the economy, improvement of living condition of persons engaged in agriculture, improve life of people who live in rural areas. And next purpose, active promotion of quantities and qualities growth of farming in medicinal plant raw material sector in our country. And second purpose, the session sets itself the task to popularize the opportunity and potential of the medicinal plant sector, to promote the issues of the sector developed at the level of the all state structure and departments. I just say the main purpose of our association, and also we have other objectives, but I will not say all about them. I just want to emphasize that medical herbs today has became more popular in all world, because all people try after COVID, all people try to improve your health, to make better your health, trying to using just organic, herbal, and other raw materials. And therefore, today, our association solves two main problems. First of all, it saves biodiversity, because we show that you should know to take wild plants, you should know destroy wild plants. You can cultivate in your ground, in your home, for example. And also, it will improve well-being of rural people, people who lives in rural area. And next slide. And then next slide, I would like to tell about our steps. I would like to talk about our advances and steps that we do in last period. First of all, the foundation of the seed farm was laid, and seeds were purchased and distributed to the farmers members of the association. Seedlings of the medical herbs were grown on the basis of hub and so on demonstration plots, jointly with the specialists of the National Academy of Science. The work on their observation is underway. As you see, it's in picture, it's our farmers. As you see, most of them is women in one agriculture farmer community. For example, in Leopard region, most of them it's women who began to cultivate and try to sell all medical herbs, and they improve their well-being of their families. And next step that we did, today we have, as I said, more than 28 members. They are in different parts of our country. And by this period, 16 farmer communities were trained and practiced the cultivation of medical herbs and their primary processing. As you see in picture, Go Green project make a lot of trainings and make a lot of practical visits, make a lot of studying process in order to learn people how to cultivate, how to dry, how to packing, how to sell, for example, and also was business marketing training in order to learn rural people in area, in order to they begin to cultivate. We show that you should know to use just only wild plant. You should not destroy. You should to save biodiversity. But you can cultivate, and you can improve your economic well-being by cultivating, and also you save a biodiversity. It was really informed. We have well-informed, competent, and trainers from, for example, National Academy. Also, we involve competent specialists from other countries, for example, from Germany. And it's our second main step. And today we have a hub. It's a processing workshop. Where all our medical herbs drying, crushing, cleaning, and packing. And as you see in this picture, it's a picture of our hub. In this picture, in our hub, we have also demonstrating territory, as you see, and this hub has all equipment. All equipment, for example, you see packing equipment. Also, we have a laboratory. Also, we have place. We have stock in order to accumulate all medical herbs, and also we have dryer. Dryer, it's made by solar system because he has a solar panel system. It's I can say that it's a green equipment in order to dry all medical herbs. This hub make or the solves next problems. For example, we have a lot of members from all our country, and in order to collect, in order to clean, in order to crush, in order to dry, we need a hub, and this hub solve all these problems because it's a really comfortable hub. It has good equipment, all equipment in order to make drying, cleaning, and packing places. And furthermore, I will tell about the product of the brewery. It's a little bit later. Okay, next. So today we have 8 types of the herbal tea. Herbal tea. You can see the picture of this. We have special design. We have packing. Also, today we have a special certificate of our state. Also, we have organic certificate from Agriculture Ministry. And today it's a ready product, which we beginning to sell, trying to provide this product in order to sell in our market, and also planning for the export. This product, as I said, has eight types. All recepts of all this herbal tea made by specialists from medical academy, from pharmaceutical specialists. They make a special recipe for us in order to produce, in our country, that we could collect all ingredients in our country. Anyway, okay. And also, number 5, you see, in order to promote our products in domestic market, association has made advertising and international videos. I attached here a video link. You can watch our marketing videos, two or three videos, marketing videos, and also we have common video about our session. If you would like, you can watch all this video. Link is here. And also, I would like to say about our cooperation, about our partners. As you see, we have memorandum of the next following organization. First of all, Department Ardeni of Ministry of Agriculture in our country. Also, we cooperate with Kyrgyzstan State Medical Academy. as I said, they bring for us receipts of our validity of our herbal. And also we have memorandum with Institute of Phytotechnologies of the Academy of Science of the Kyrgyzstan. Also, we will try to cooperate with non-governmental organizations, for example, Association of Domestic Producers. We make memorandum with this association in order to provide full marketing. And also we have memorandum with the foreign organization, long-term care company. It's a farm company or public. So, also, before finishing, I would like to say about goals and objectives of the association on this year and next year. Because we have our herbal tea, our association has a really strong, we have a really strong potential in order to develop sector economy like herbal raw materials. And we have next years. First of all, develop the program strategy for the development of the medicinal plant sector together with the expert communities. Also, we're trying to obtain a license for pharmaceutical activities of the association members. Also, development of the new products, food products, dietary supplements, medicines, veterinary products. I will say about food products. Today we are trying to make dried fruits for eating also and for drinking. Like it will be different ingredients. So dried foods, for eating also and for drinking. Like also expansion of the area planted with medical plants. Finding new markets abroad, expansion of the list of the medical plants, including of the register of agricultural crops. And at all, I talked about common information about association their league. I talked about our first steps, our first success, and also I talked about our future plans. And thank you very much for your presence. And that's all. If you have any questions, I can.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marlis. Batma Kaldybek Kyzy. So I'm going to share with my experience in the snow leopard conservation. I'm going to start this video.
And that's also built.
So this video was done for you especially, just for this webinar. This is a place called Bishtash. It's in the Talas region. So my project is Leopard Guardians, the reviving traditional knowledge for conservation. Location is in Talas Bishtash National Park. But the video already in the video there was already showing Arashan. It's also part of the Bishtash National Park. It's the site. So project schedule is May-October 2023. So project goal is preservation and protection of the snow leopard and its habitat through the dissemination of traditional knowledge of spiritual and cultural traditions, as well as educational activities with kindergarten students and youth to create a favorable environment for snow leopard conservation. We have 4 components of this project. The first is informing the population about the sacredness of the snow leopard and the importance of its habitat. The second one is establishing dialogue with youth through conducting a ritual of gratitude to the sacred forces at the Arashan sacred site. Third one is transmitting traditional knowledge for snow leopard conservation through meetings with kindergarten students involving parents, educators, and teachers. The fourth component is promoting the idea of the snow leopard's sacredness as a symbol of pride and the attraction for the region through creating a promotional video and disseminating it in local and national as well as on internet resources. It's a pleasure to introduce our gardeners. The first guardian of the snow leopard is Leopard Guardians. He's one of the founding members of the Orlando Snow Leopard Network, holding the esteemed position of guardian of the Russian sacred site and being recognized as a blessing giver within his community. He's a highly respected indigenous elder and a guardian of traditional knowledge. In Kyrgyzstan's rich cultural heritage, blessings hold a significant place, and the individuals with specialized expertise like Leopard are actively sought after for their profound wisdom and unique ability to bridge their contemporary world with their ancestral realm. Leopard's role extends beyond cultural preservation, and he is also a dedicated defender of the endangered snow leopard, serving as a stalwart protector of this iconic species in the face of significant threats to its existence. His commitment to both cultural heritage and conservation is a testament to his deep reverence for the land and its creatures. The next is pleasure to introduce Muhammad Aliyev Kamil. Also, he is renowned as a storyteller of the great epic Manas and the other small Kyrgyz epics. He is not only a spiritual and cultural practitioner, but also a dedicated defender of the sacred snow leopard in Kyrgyz culture. As a member of VSP and Manastir, he brings his passion for preserving cultural heritage and protecting the natural world together. In addition to his role as a director of the Manas World Museum in the Talas region, so Muhammad Aliyev Kamil actively advocates for the conservation and reverence of the snow leopard, recognizing its significance within Kyrgyz culture and ecosystems. This photo illustrates a screenshot from the video. He was motivating children in the kindergarten to tell Manas epic. It's very great epic in the Kyrgyz culture, and he was motivating young and children to tell Manas, and also in the Manas the role of the snow leopard is very big. So expected results, we have expected 3 results. The first one is cultural transmission. The ritual provides an opportunity to pass down traditional knowledge and practice associated with the snow leopard from older generation to the youth. It helps to preserve cultural tradition and keeps them alive for future generations. The second expected result is sense of connection. Involving young people in a sacred ritual fosters a sense of connection and a belonging to their cultural roots. It creates a deeper appreciation for the spiritual and cultural significance of the snow leopard in the community. The third one is environmental consciousness. Through the ritual, youth develop a greater awareness of the interconnected between the snow leopard, its habitat, and the local system. This can lead to a sense of responsibility and concern for the conservation of the species and its natural environment. We have five. The five component is about climate change. So we are informing local communities and the youth about the impact of climate change on the snow leopard's habitat. So we have two expected results. The first one is increased awareness and conservation efforts. By educating local communities and the youth about the consciousness of climate change on the snow leopard's habitat, there is an expected increase in awareness and understanding of the importance of preserving this iconic species and its ecosystem. This heightened awareness can lead to greater local engagement in conservation efforts, such as getting up community-based wildlife protection initiatives, establishing conservation zones, and participating in reforestation projects. As a result, there is an expected increase in conservation activities aimed at safeguard the snow leopard and its habitat. And the second expected result is behavior change and sustainable practices. Informing local communities and youth about climate change's impact on the snow leopard's habitat can lead to behavioral changes and adopting sustainable practices. With a better understanding of the environmental conscious individuals are more likely to make eco-conscious decisions, such as reducing carbon emissions, minimizing habitat destruction, and supporting eco-friendly livelihoods. These changed behaviors can contribute to the long-term protection of snow leopard's habitat and the overall resilience of the local system in the face of climate change. This coexistence, this is what I really wanted to emphasize here. Recently, during our expedition in September, we met with herders in the region, in Beşiktaş, especially when we visited to these lakes, and our discussion revealed a growing issue. Snow leopards have increasingly been attacking livestock, leading to the heightened conflicts in the area. This interaction with herders shed light on the urgent need for innovative solution and community-based approach to address the coexistent challenges between these magnificent but endangered predators and the livelihood of the local shepherds. Here, I would like to emphasize that these guys are the herders in the Beşiktaş National Park, and we had a little discussion during our expedition with them. We took an interview from them, and they told that nowadays snow leopards are attacking livestock, which says that there might be conflict with the local people, the local shepherds, and the snow leopard. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted to say. Do you have any question, please, guys?
About how is the snow leopard viewed in the local community? Usually in local community, they love snow leopard for reasons that in our country, in our beliefs, in our traditional heritage, in our traditional culture, snow leopard is the sacred animal. Also, in our legends, we have notifications that its animal was like a sacred protector of our Emperor Manas. And we have too much fairy tales legends of snow leopard that who will kill snow leopard, they will have punishment from universe, from sacred powers, etc. And actually, local communities, especially old generation, they love this sacred animal. But we have poachers, and we have attack to local shepherds' cattle from side of snow leopards. And of course, it creates conflicts between shepherds and national park. We have some cases, but it's not much. But we have, rarely we have this case. And another question, how much training can local people get in learning practical biodiversity and snow leopard conservation? How can interest to buy local training opportunities to increase? Thank you for these questions. It's interesting for us. In a frame of work during the project, which coordinating by Batma, it was around 100 people who was participating in our project activities. But our project doesn't have a goal to teach them practical skills. But we have another partner organization, how they have some methodology, how they can help snow leopards survive in winter, hard conditions, and they are teaching local shepherds how they can establish camera trap, how they can make some activities of ecological monitoring. That's why my answer. And about how we can interest about local training opportunities to be increased. I think local communities, they are always interesting to have some new skills, new education. And about issues of stimulation and motivation. I think we need to develop some activities to motivate and stimulate them. For example, we in our country, we don't have program, we don't project which can motivate and stimulate shepherds to preserve habitat of snow leopards. In other case, we know in other countries like Pakistan and Nepal, we know that they have project which compensating attack of snow leopard. I think we can share with us result of this experience. Maybe we can initiate some joint initiatives platform to teach our local communities how we can preserve snow leopard habitat to avoid destroying issues from shepherds, because the attack from snow leopard to local cattle is increasing last days. Thank you. It was question Is there any difference in engaging parts of women in the program? Of course, it's different project, it's different programs. If men usually participating in program regarding to agriculture and aboriginal livestock, usually we can involve our local women in program which we are teaching of green skills, green education, how they can collect wild berries without harm, without damage, without injury of wild environmental. And we can teach with involving a woman, we can teach their kids. It's very interesting initiatives. We have our beneficiaries organization like kindergarten, which in frame of work project coordinating by Batma, and we have very interesting results. Thank you for question.
Thank you for organizing all this webinar, dear Rakhi. And thank you, dear participants. I hope it was very useful. And see you.
Thank you so much, all of you. We really enjoyed the presentation.